Med Rundown 4, a high-yield Clostridium story. Cody was a Clostridium, a type of bacteria that lived in the soil. He was very different from his friends, who liked to breathe oxygen and play in the sun. Cody hated oxygen, and preferred to hide in dark and moist places. He was also very sensitive to heat and cold, and would curl up into a tiny ball called a spore whenever he felt threatened. He had a thick coat of purple armor that protected him from enemies, but also made him stand out from the crowd. One day, Cody decided to go on an adventure. He wanted to see the world beyond his home. He hitched a ride on a carrot that was pulled out of the ground by a farmer. He was amazed by the sights and sounds of the farm, but he also felt scared and lonely. He missed his family and friends, who were all anaerobic, gram-positive, and spore-forming like him. He tried to make new friends, but no one liked him. The other bacteria thought he was weird and dangerous. They called him names like botulism, tetanus, and gas gangrene. They said he caused diseases in humans and animals, and that he should go back to where he came from. Cody felt hurt and angry. He wished he could show them that he was not a bad guy, but just a curious Clostridium. He decided to look for a place where he could be himself. He found a jar of honey that was left open on the kitchen counter. He thought it looked sweet and cozy, so he jumped inside. He was happy to find that there was no oxygen in the jar, and that the honey was warm and sticky. He felt like he had found his paradise. He started to multiply and grow in the jar, producing toxins and gases as he did so. He did not know that he was making the honey poisonous and explosive. He did not mean to harm anyone, but he did not realize the consequences of his actions. One day, the farmer's wife came into the kitchen and saw the jar of honey. She noticed that it was bulging and fizzing, and that it smelled bad. She wondered what was wrong with it, so she opened the lid to take a closer look. As soon as she did, the jar exploded with a loud bang, sending honey and Clostridia flying everywhere. Cody was thrown out of the jar by the blast. He landed on the floor, covered in sticky honey. He felt dizzy and confused. He looked around and saw that he had caused a mess in the kitchen. He saw the farmer's wife screaming and running away from him. He realized that he had made a terrible mistake. He wished he could apologize, but he knew it was too late. He wished he could go back to his home in the soil, where he belonged. He wished he had never left his family and friends, who were all anaerobic, gram-positive, and spore-forming like him. He learned a hard lesson that day, that being a Clostridium is not easy, and that sometimes curiosity can lead to trouble.